International students in Canada. There are struggles. I have to be honest with you. If you're coming to Canada to be an international student, it's going to be difficult for you. I'll tell you why. School, if you're putting an effort for it and you actually want to graduate, for the most part, is difficult. It doesn't have to be a pain, and it doesn't have to be, not enjoyable, but you have to put the work forward and you actually have to try. That's the thing. If you want to graduate, you want to do good in your field, you want to get out of school, you have to try. Now, I'm somebody who also does a bit of entrepreneurship on the side, so I understand how school can get really hard, especially if you have other things on the side. But what if you're an international student? How can that work? If you're an international student, you're new to the country, and you just, you may be a little bit homesick. In this video, I'm going to go through all the troubles that you may encounter as an international student, though there are more. I'm going to cover the main ones, and I'm also going to offer concrete solutions or just tips and tricks to help you out if you're coming to Canada. The reason why I'm making this video is because I started making videos about Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I noticed we had a big international following and students who wanted to come to Canada. So I looked around for international student videos and I saw, you know what? There's a lot of people moving to Canada who are international students and having struggles. One YouTube search of international students in Canada, the videos all read international student struggles, what to expect for international students, questions to the Minister of Immigration regarding international students. There's so many troubles, and though I'm not going to go over immigration because that's not my specialty, I do have a lot of international friends who have had tough experiences and I've tried to help them through it. So let's talk a little bit about it. When you come to Canada, the first problem you may encounter is money. That's an obvious thing. That's the first thing that a lot of people think about, because either your parents or someone in your family is paying for it or you're paying for it yourself. Either way, it's going to be expensive, and tuition for international students is going to be incredibly expensive compared to somebody who's in Canada. So what I recommend you do is to just try your best. Go into it knowing if you try your best, there's nothing else you can do. And it might sound silly, but I understand that there are people in your life you don't want to let down, especially because you're coming to Canada. Maybe if you have brothers and sisters, they've done the same, or maybe you have a unique opportunity and you're one of the only people who actually got to do that. So you may feel a huge amount of pressure to do that, to study. And one thing I recommend is don't study all the time. I understand that there may be a language barrier, it may be difficult, and there's going to be more obstacles. So you are going to need to work harder. I'm an advocate of working hard, but what I recommend you do is to give yourself some mental space. We all need it, and I understand different cultures are more geared towards working harder. Specifically, I'm not saying any culture is a harder worker, but I'm just saying that some cultures in particular, especially my background, they expect you to work very hard and constantly. That's where most honor comes from. That's where you get love from your family. That's your way of being accepted. But you need to understand you need to do things that are right for your mental health. In Canada, it's a very fast-paced society. Maybe not like other places in the world, but it's constantly go, go, go. And school is go, go, go. If you don't give yourself enough distance, enough space from your subject matter, you're going to be stressed and it's going to take its toll on you. This is why a lot of people fail and drop out. They don't understand that completing school is a march. You have a few goals. First of all, you don't want to drop out. Second of all, you want to stick with it, you want to get good marks. Third of all, you want to maintain the energy and the health to be able to keep going. If you want to do those things, listen to this principle. It's called the 20-mile march. And I've talked about it in my previous videos. But the 20-mile march is something I actually learned about in Great by Choice by Jim Collins. And I'm not being an affiliate of the book, I'm just like, it's something that I always thought about, but it was never put into words and nobody told me about it until I read this book, but it took the words right out of my mouth and made it more concrete. What I recommend you do when you're studying is, instead of studying for 9 to 12 hours in one day and then taking a big break the next day, then working 20 hours the next day, I find a lot of international students do this because they're very hard workers. What I recommend you do is try to break it up. set an amount of time you study every single day. Maybe give yourself Sunday as a break. But I recommend studying every single day. Not for everybody, I certainly don't. But I understand a lot of people, they really want to work hard. And if that's what you want to do, commit to studying every day for a certain amount of time. Listen to this. If you march 20 miles a day, opposed to 60 miles in one day, 80 miles the next day, and then taking 3 days off because you're exhausted, you will eventually accomplish more. And that's what I recommend you do as an international student. Come here, study maybe 1 or 2 hours every single day for the whole week. That means when you feel good, you exercise the restraint from studying more even though you want to. So when the going gets tough, maybe you get sick, maybe school is hard that day, maybe you had family trouble, you're still going to exercise the discipline to study 2 hours that day. That way you consistently see results. You get to first year, to second year, to third year, to fourth year, and you maintain your health all the way through your undergrad. Now this may be different if you're working in the medical field, if you're working as a surgeon, if you're working to get to dentistry. I understand there are internships, there's a whole bunch of things that you need to complete, so it may be different, but as much as possible, try to implement the 20-mile march rule, especially as an international student. And do those things that mean a lot to you. Find a hobby, find something that makes you happy. So that's my advice. To summarize, what I recommend you do is to get here. You're gonna have a bit of pressure, but understand there's nothing you can do but try your hardest. Get all your stuff in line. I understand money may be difficult. You may be thinking about getting a job on the side, but what I recommend you do is save in advance. That's something I really recommend. If you can get a job, try working online if you already know how to do that. It may be hard to start it from the beginning, but try to spend as much time on your mental health as possible. I say that's more important than going out and getting a job and going nuts, because a lot of people will drop out if they burn out. So you don't want to drop out. Use the 20-mile march rule. Keep progressing slowly towards your objective, and don't push too hard, but also don't take days off and slack. Keep doing that, come out of your comfort zone, meet new people, and the experience will be much better. Now this is a very broad topic, and there's so much that will go into this. I don't want to make this video 5 hours long. I just want to give you those tips, but if I've helped you, please subscribe to me, because I make content all about international students moving to Canada or anywhere else in the world. You can apply these tips, and I also talk a bit about marketing and finding your way in the world as a student. So I'd really appreciate that, and drop me any questions you may have in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.